shit, it's me and I don't look like a gargoyle. I just wanted to pop in before the actual video starts to let you know, if you're looking for a beat-by-beat synopsis of Keeper, this ain't gonna be it. I basically give a brief, spoiler-free synopsis of the book, and then I dive right into what I thought was dope, what I didn't like, what I loved, what I hated. Spoiler alert, I didn't hate anything about this book. I really like this book, but I'm not here to give you the whole dirty breakdown of what happens in Keeper. I want you to read the damn book or go find somebody else's video that maybe did that. But in the meantime, if you want to hear what I thought about Keeper, this is it. Enjoy. I have wine and I have thoughts about Keeper. I personally love Kim. Love her. She's just so relatable, so down to earth, humble. This video is not about Kim. This video is about her book. I just wanted to give some backstory to the fact that I am a Kim Chance fan. However, that has nothing to do with my review. I will just say that. Go ahead and dive into my thoughts about Keeper. My very first thought when I started reading this book, and I got it from the library, I'm not gonna lie. I wanted it in the library because I knew there was a better chance of more people reading it. I hope that the beautiful green on the shelf will get people to read it and buy it. I think the best way to support your local authors and your friends and your indie authors, besides buying their book, is to get their book in the library. Because I know the majority of the books that I buy are books I read in the library and loved. My first thought when I opened this book, pause. Let me give you a synopsis, spoiler-free, before we go on. Keeper is a YA fantasy about 16-year-old Lainey Styles, who is visited or haunted or attacked by a 200-year-old ghost named Josephine. And Josephine basically tells her that she, through visions, that she is a keeper. And the keepers are a line of witches who are destined to protect a grimoire or a spell book from an evil warlock called the Master. And she has to kind of figure out what that means, how to defeat the Master, how to use her powers, all while having these interactions with this strange boy who just came to town. And so, with that being said, everything from here on out, there will be hella spoilers. So if you haven't read Keeper, shut it off because I don't want to ruin it for you. I want you to go get it. It's fantastic, but I have thoughts. My first thought when I opened this book, I'm like, oh my God, we're in for some good old YA cheese. I was really excited. I loved the intensity of Lainey's voice. Everything was an emergency to her because God, everything's an emergency to teenage girls, and I loved it. And she's so practical and so thoughtful, and she thinks about everything. And it was like, at times it got a little bit telly, but then I realized like I was very much like Lainey, where I thought everything through a lot and I was very practical. So if someone was reading my thoughts, I would sound very telly. Like I was explaining things to myself in my head all the time. Very authentic to such a pragmatic, bookish type of person. Maggie, who is Lainey's best friend, a superhero comic book nerd, some of her mannerisms, some of her lines came off very fan fiction cringy, but she sounded like a teenager. She sounded like someone who wanted to have these cute little one-liners in with her friend and wanted to tell her friend what she thought. I knew people like that in high school. I know people like that now. I'm 22 and I still know people like that. So it made me cringe a little bit to read some of it, but it wasn't inauthentic. It was just very true to teenagehood, and some things about teenagehood are cringy. A big thing for me, because I have listened to Kim speak for however many hours and have interacted with her, I found it hard not to hear Lainey as Kim. I kept trying to pull myself out of it and found that it was hard for me to, was that I kept imagining Lainey looked like Kim, imagining Kim's voice when I heard Lainey's voice, and things like that. I think that happens with any author when they have a platform. I think that's very common when you have an idea of who's writing this character, and the character is the same gender and the same kind of like look as the protagonist of the story, that you kind of get those wires crossed. So here are some things that I was frustrated about. Serena and Gareth. Oh my God, are you telling me you knew this girl was a witch for 16 years and you didn't say nothing? Nothing. She's practically an adult already. Why did you not think by 16 she'd be doing some magic shit? Like, I don't understand. I was so irritated with them. Like, I understand that, like, parental, like, desire to want to keep someone safe, but damn, she'd be a lot safer if she knew how to use her powers. God, it made me so angry. Speaking of, we're talking about this guy, the Master. And his last name was originally Masterson. And in the least creative move possible, he decides he just wants to be called the Master. You trying to be like Voldemort, but you can't even come up with a name? At least Voldemort moved his letters around and, like, changed it up. But you just want to be the Master? Your last name's Masterson. That's not very different. So indicative of how big of a tool this guy is. Like, because I thought, because I'm a Buffy girl, he was, like, the best warlock in the land, and he, like, kicked everybody's ass, so he became the Master, and he killed the other Master, like, I'm the Master now. No, he was just like, I'm the Master now. Let's talk about magic always leaves a mark. Throughout this book, Kim had Lainey and all the other people influenced and touched by magic having marks left on them. And, you know, first Lainey got her green eyes, and then she got that tattoo at the very end, and I loved that, and I love that concept, especially since we've just found out a couple of, maybe about a week ago or so, that there's going to be a sequel. I'm really excited to see what other marks are going to come. My witches have an X on the inside of their hand. It's called the Marcan de Bruja. So I love that idea of, like, magic marking you. But we have to talk about the twist. Lainey, Maggie, Serena, and Ty are going to the ball that the Master is throwing because they're trying to find the Hitiar, the council of people who are trying to fight back against the Master, right? And they get there, and Maggie is disguised as Lainey because they know the Master's looking for Lainey. And that fucking scavenger brings Maggie up to the stage, and Ty's like, hang on, that's my kill. And I was like, okay, yeah, he's thinking on his feet. He's getting Maggie out of the situation. He's such a good guy. I'm so glad. Like, oh, they just had that beautiful moment where they kissed and everything was like, I believe in angels. And then he's like, I fucking work for the Master, yo. And, like, shows his, wherever his tattoo is, I don't remember. And I was like, why didn't I see this coming? Once I realized he was a Praetorian or supernatural at all, I should have been like, this guy's a double agent. This guy's trying to get her to the Master. I should have known this shit from the beginning. But I was like, no. Like, you're thinking too much into it. He's just like, he's like a white lighter from Charm, basically. I was like, oh, he's just her angel. Like, it's fine. And I really hoped, from my little shipper heart, that I was right. And I wasn't right. He was working for the Master. So I'm sitting at work. I'm reading this book on my lunch break at work. I'm shook. Lainey goes up there, sees the Master. She's like, this is my friend. Let her go. You're an asshole, Ty. Blah, 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 blah. And then Gareth shows up. Been missing for days. Was killed and reanimated. Just like Josephine's lover, Henry. The foreshadowing on that was done so well that I didn't even realize it was foreshadowing. I just thought Josephine was showing us what happened in her life through those flashbacks with Lainey, and just to see what she went through in order to keep the Grimoire safe and away from the Master, that she lost the love of her life and then had to kill him again. And to make it not Ty, and to make it Gareth, who was her only parent in the world, I literally had tears in my eyes, and I was like, I gotta stop reading this, but I can't because I don't know what's gonna happen. Oh my God. And then the final twist, if you didn't know, was that Lainey was the grimoire the whole time. The whole time. She's the grimoire. What? She took the necklace from the master, she burned the fucking plantation down, and she gets, like, with Zia and Maggie, and they're all safe. She tries to open the necklace, and it doesn't work. She's like, it's fake. And I was like, all that for nothing! And then Josephine was like, nah, you're the grimoire, have a good time. And I love, as much as I hate Ty's guts, I love that we didn't get a happy ending. I always feel, especially when it's a series, why a romantic relationship will always get a happy ending at the end of book 1 so they can fuck it up in book 2 and make book 2 miserable. But we didn't get that. Lainey was like, I hate you, Ty. Goodbye. Like, done. So now book 2 is gonna be all girl power all the time, especially because Maggie got bit by a fucking shifter, and she's gonna be a shifter now. And I'm really excited because I do like the take of like a human being in the magical world, but I'm excited because Maggie has been in peril multiple times, and now she's gonna have a way to defend herself, and she's gonna be a super, and that's all she ever wanted, was to like be a Peter Parker, like have her own powers. And I got really excited when I realized that she was gonna get to be a supernatural in Seeker. Back to the YA romance thing, my thoughts are all over the place. I've had a couple glasses of wine. I loved that the whole time Lainey and Ty were falling for each other. He would do some shit, and I would be like, I don't trust him. And then I'd be like, all good, and I'd be like, oh, okay, like he's probably fine. I was like, I don't trust him. Oh, but he's so sweet. Oh, he's so cute. And then when he betrayed her, right after everything, I was like, I don't trust my instincts. I was really pissed at myself. Going back to the ending, when we find out Maggie's gonna be a shifter, the teleporters and seeing her family like through the veil when she goes to talk to Josephine for the last time, and Josephine tells her she's the grimoire, felt very Harry Potter. But since Harry Potter has monopolized every type of magic there is, it's hard not to pull elements of it into a witch story. Like, I write witches, and it's hard not to incorporate elements of Harry Potter or other magical type of fiction into a newer fiction book, because they've kind of just taken all the magic and like hoarded it for themselves. So that's fair. That being said, the rest of the magic, using the tarot cards with Serena, like having seers and having Praetorians, I've never heard of, was very original. I wrap up final thoughts were, it's a great YA ride. It is cheesy and fun and keeps you thinking this is gonna be like, even though there's a lot of shit going on with Lainey, you think, oh, this is gonna be a lighthearted, fun little romp. Like, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. And then the masquerade and the carnival happens, first of all. And you're like, oh my God. Like, shit's getting real. These scavengers are after her. And you're like, well, it's gonna be fine. And then the masquerade happens, and you're like, oh, this is real. The tone, the shift of the tone is like instantaneous and heartbreaking because you don't see it coming. Like, she's like really losing people and really hurting and really like gonna have to deal with this trauma. And it just, such a good read. Lainey and Maggie. I love a good female friendship. I would give Keeper 4.5 out of 5 stars. The reasons I don't give it 5 stars are that, again, it gets a little bit cheesy and cringy at times, and I understand that's what she's going for. I guess what I'm trying to say is there wasn't enough snark for me because I'm used to my YA being full of snark. But this was just genuine and wholesome, and you root for Lainey Styles all the way to the end. If you haven't read Keeper, go read Keeper. Get it in your libraries. Buy it everywhere books are sold. Go give Kim Chan some love, because this book is bananas, and I loved it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos every Saturday. I put out blogs every Wednesday on vrenaewrites.tumblr.com, and I will see you next Saturday.